Righto, so we just come from a meeting that I've basically been waiting around all day for. I'm just walking to dinner now here in Magadan, and this project has got more twists and turns than a rattlesnake. The meeting through the middle of the day got kiboshed because it intersected with another meeting that I had going, and anyway, so I ended up doing sort of desktop research, just researching the locations that I was after in Russian. And it looked really sus because I got picked up in a van and got taken off to a location where we met up with an interpreter who was doubling as security on a gate. But the long shot, sort of the meeting went through sort of a number of different iterations. At first they said they could find me one miner, but I wouldn't be able to photograph his face because what he's doing is illegal, and so they could show me the equipment that he uses and all that sort of stuff, and I basically said that wasn't really suitable. And at that point in time it became more and more apparent that what I'm trying to do here in Russia basically has never been done before. I'd sort of sensed that to some extent, but it's becoming more and more, it's crystallising in my mind a lot more than probably I realised before. So then they basically came back to me and said that what I was seeking to do was impossible. And I told them it wasn't impossible because I'd seen or learned today that there were lots of these miners down around east of Lake Baikal, to the southeast or to the east of Magadan. Anyway, I stuck to my guns and said there must be a way to do it, and my contact here is pretty good. He then turned around and said, well, he had a couple of contacts in there, and I sort of put it to them that someone had said to me the other day that there were, how can I say, someone put it to me the other day that a lot of these raptors, as they're called in these parts, had recently aligned themselves with larger corporates, so they're still doing what they always did. But then what had happened recently was that the corporates were providing them with fuel and equipment and all that sort of stuff to save them having to do long trips into Magadan. So they then said to me that yes, there were these people, but it was still thought that these people were illegal, so they were going to be pretty reluctant to help. So what he suggested, he had a couple of contacts in larger corporations working in the gold mining industry here, and he said what they can do is he can introduce me to those people, and it's basically going to be up to me to build relationships with the heads of these companies that they would introduce me to, and that if I could win them over, then they would potentially provide me with access to exactly what I'm needing, and they would give me protection and all of that sort of stuff, so there wouldn't be sort of issues for my safety and all of that type of stuff. The other thing they sort of warned me about was that foreigners sniffing around gold interests in Russia were likely to attract the interests of the FSB, which is basically the successor, I think, to the KGB. And I told them that I'd already encountered problems with that in January when I was here, when they thought that I was a spy. So he said, look, you can't do this. You can't do this in one day. He said what you'll need to do is go to the towns that he's mentioned, and that I'll rent an apartment there and basically work on building relationships in the town. So that's pretty much where we left it for now. So I've got to wait around. Tomorrow will probably be a not much of a day. It'll just, well, when I say that, it'll just be hurry up and wait type of stuff, as I've been pretty used to. And then it's possible that I will go to the towns, one or two of the towns that he's mentioned, and then just sort of start trying to build this thing from the ground up again. I've got zero expectations as to how I'm going to go. All I can really do is give it a crack, and I've come this far. You know, it's not costing me a lot of money in these places, and all I can really do is just dig in and see how I go. I'm quite happy to donate time and photos to, you know, or basically take photos of the gold mining operations of some of these larger corporations that are working here. That's not an issue for me. But you know, I've got zero expectations as to whether I'm actually going to see what I'm wanting to see. I'm really hoping that I can. So again, if you're interested in this and the trip, I'd really love it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hugh Brown Photography, and I'll be in touch once I know more. Thank you.